Listen, I've been just kind of skimming through the Bible here lately. Um, and I just read First Samuel 17 First Samuel chapter 17, story about David and Goliath. And something I never recognized about this story, we all hear about how like David, cut off Goliath's head and whatnot, and David hit Goliath in the head with a slingshot, and then he falls over, and David takes the victory, and everybody's like, yeah, woohoo, go little David, praise God, blah blah. But what I didn't know is all these little things that happened up to that moment. And so in this video, this is what I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to start. So basically, David has been going back and forth to the camp to meet Saul and talk to his brothers and everything like that. And you have a guy that comes out and challenges the Israelites. He comes out and he's like, hey, you guys ain't nothing, ain't never gonna be nothing. I don't care who you represent, I don't care who you with, I'm the baddest, but if y'all think y'all bad, y'all can send somebody out here to me and I will fight them. And so that's how the whole movie starts, right? Like imagine you're watching this in a film, Marvel's hosting this movie. And so this is the scene. You got the Hulk has come out, right? Oh, well, I don't know. I need a villain. Well, anyways, you got a big guy that's come out, Goliath, and then you got a little boy who's the hero, okay? So David hears Goliath talking all this trash one day, and his original job was, I need to bring this food to my brothers and just see how they're doing so I can, give a report to my dad. But he hears somebody talking trash on his people. And I don't know about you, but I can relate to that so much because it's like, you can say whatever to me, but you start talking about my family, my sister, my dad, my mom, my friends, my girl, anything like that, that is going to spark something in my brain to where I just ain't having it. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to do something. I'm going to have to deal with that. And you see David, like, what? He has to like, what? Hold on, man. No, we are not about to do this. So he starts going around, it's like, yo, asking people, what will happen to the man that will win? What happens to the guy that kills this guy? And they tell him like, oh, well, the king will shower you with presents, and he'll let you marry his daughter. And I don't know, but Saul was a head taller than everybody else. That means his daughter was probably fine and she was tall. We imagine what a tall blonde, that's probably what was going on there. So David was like, shoot, I'm like 12, 13 years old. Heck yeah, I get to marry the daughter. Oh, say less. But anyway, you're looking at this. I'm looking at this story, and I'm like, I'm seeing now something that I never recognized before in this story. It says that David's brothers heard that David was inquiring. He was asking these questions. He was asking, what will happen to the one who beats him, and blah, blah, blah. And they got mad. They got mad that David was trying to figure out how he could win, or what would happen if he win. They were mad because he was asking how or what will happen. I don't know. I'm just looking at this like, man, you ever like think to yourself, I'm going to do something. I'm tired of this. I wonder what could happen if I took the risk and just did what I wanted to do. You see what I'm saying? And so I found it interesting that it was his brothers. The rest of the Israelites wasn't mad, but his own family was mad that he was willing to take a chance. And I'm sitting here like, man, no way. Like, I never even knew that was like a part of the story. I didn't know they got mad. I thought they were scared. And it's funny that, so here's another thing. They're mad at David, their little brother, for wanting to take a chance, yet they themselves wouldn't even try. And that's a word for me, because sometimes I don't like to post everything on Facebook or Snap or anything like that. Sometimes I like to post some of my wins. I don't post everything just because people like David's brothers get mad. Why would you try that? And then, you turn around and, I mean, of course, you got people who, and we know this part of the story, Saul, who tried to force David to do it his way. He wore his uniform, wore his spear and helmet. And honestly, it just, the way that they wanted David to do it, it just wasn't going to work out. Number one, because God had to show that God was with him. So it wouldn't be like, oh, yeah, because I had a spear. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, especially when it comes to music, if you're trying to do music or whatever, that's what we talk about on this channel. But people say like, oh, if you had investors, if you had $10,000 to put towards a video, man, we could really get you out there, blah, blah, blah. Maybe, right? But if God's in it, he don't need no $10,000. You know what I'm saying? You don't need all the extra stuff. David showed the guys that, hey, some sticks, right? To make that sling, some 5 stones. Took the shot. I've talked about taking the shot before, but sometimes you have to take that shot regardless of what people trying to make you do, regardless of what your own family may say out of anger and jealousy, regardless of what people, you ever see these boxing fights, people who never boxed in their life talk about, man, no, that was, man, the way that no. Never boxed in their life, would never, ever get in the ring, ever talk the most trash. Oh, if that was me, I would have. And so I keep reading, and it says that David's brothers approached him, and they were like, "You are so conceited." I didn't know that this was part of this. This is in this story, straight up. The brothers approached David and say, "You are so conceited. Like, look at you out here. We know you didn't come to get us food. You came to watch the battle." Bro, are you like, at that point, if I'm David, I'm going to be like, listen, bro, oh my gosh, get out of my face. This is why it's not the story of Chan and Goliath, because this story would be way different. I wouldn't even have taken the time to even listen to that. Right? But they were hating on him. They were talking trash to him. And they were his own family. And then, so David goes, and what does he do? We know the rest of the story. He defeats the Goliath. Israel praises him. And I don't see nothing about his brothers praising him at all. Like, I just read through that. Israelites were happy. Saul was just like, oh, man. Now, imagine you're Saul. See, here's another side of this thing, too. Because Saul, gave David, or Saul is the one that said, "Hey, I'll give this reward to whoever kills Goliath." David does it, and the next story we read about how Saul was jealous of David, and that's a whole nother word for another time. When you get the job, and the boss is jealous, the higher ups are jealous because you're putting the work in, you're not afraid to stay extra and overtime. Some of y'all remember the job that I was let go from. I was in a similar situation like that. Because people start feeling threatened. Because, like I said in the beginning of the story, it's like David saw the need. David said, "I'm going to do this." And then David did it. And the people who were around the whole time, coulda, woulda, shoulda, don't get you nowhere. Man. So I'm going to just tell you this. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. That's a fact. So, like David, regardless if your people around you don't step up to the plate, your co-workers let the piece of trash just stay on the floor, your own family lets the place get run down, but you think to yourself, I'm going to do something. I'm going to pick the piece of paper up and put it in the basket. I'm going to stay a little bit later, make sure everything is closed right. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Regardless of what the people around me say, try to make me do, I'm going to see a victory. I'm going to get the victory. Regardless. That's a mindset. I'm going to take the shot regardless of what is going around, what is being said, what is being done. Think about that.